Grab your popcorn because the Democrats are fighting again. Moderate Joe Manchin is furious with Joe Biden after the president promised to shut down all coal plants across America.
We're now changing the nature of the life of a battery. Folks, it's also now cheaper to generate electricity from wind and solar than it is from coal and oil, literally cheaper. We're going to be shutting these plants down all across America and having wind and solar. It's going to become a wind generation. And all they're doing is going to save them a hell of a lot of money.
Joe Manchin demanding Biden apologize in a scathing statement that says, quote, President Biden's comments are not only outrageous and divorced from reality, they ignore the severe economic pain the American people are feeling because of rising energy costs. Comments like these are the reason the American people are losing trust in President Biden and instead believes he does not understand the need to have an all-in energy policy that would keep our nation totally energy independent and secure. And the White House was forced to once again clean up Biden's remarks by saying his words had been, quote, twisted.
Oh.
All right. So the first question that I have, Jesse, is when Biden goes in after making a tone-deaf statement like that to the detriment of Democrats running across this country, who comes out and decides they need to clean it up? I know Karine Jean-Pierre came up, but who behind the curtains is calling the shots and saying this has to be redone, this has to be re-explained?
Klain, Treasury, Energy, everybody knows he put his foot in his mouth, so it doesn't matter who. They all know Joe screwed up. I don't know who to root for in this fight because I've had it with both of these guys. Biden's been saying he's trying to get rid of fossil fuels for years. What did Manchin was he born yesterday? He just realized that? Now all of a sudden that's disgusting? Now, Harold convinced me not to hit Manchin that hard, so I might hit him less hard. But this guy gave Joe Biden $1 trillion in a green slush fund and then was like, oh, maybe it'll cause inflation. He broke my heart. Let's put it that way. Manchin broke my heart. Joe Biden says we're going to get rid of coal and do wind and solar. But that's not what Delaware did. Delaware got rid of coal and then just uses natural gas. Delaware's 92% natural gas. They don't have a single offshore wind turbine, and they only have one solar panel. Why doesn't somebody ask Joe Biden, hey, why, Joe? Also, where are these workers going to go work after they get fired from these coal jobs? Are they going to join forces with the laid-off Keystone Pipeline guys? Where are they going to go make electric batteries somewhere? Not at Ford, because Ford moved the electric battery manufacturing plant to Mexico. Yep. That's kind of a long commute.
Yeah, and also, Dana, do you remember Solyndra during the Obama administration where we lost $500 million with a country that some knew was going a company some knew was going bankrupt? Are we back to solar panels again?
Well, Solyndra was our favorite story on the 5, and we did it over and over again. The Democrats should have watched us then as well.
$500 million, though. That's nothing.
Yeah, now.
Remember when we thought that was something?
Like, yeah, that used to be a lot of money.
Yes.
Now it's nothing. Joe Biden just said what he truly believes. And you'll remember Hillary Clinton said the same thing in 2016, and that was a big deal because all the Democrats are like, oh, wait, you can't say that. But it is what they mean, and it is what energizes. They need that left-wing side of the Democratic Party to be energized in this election, so that's why they say it. I thought it was kind of ridiculous that the White House came out and said, we apologize, but Joe Biden's words were twisted. What was twisted?
Yeah.
I read, nobody twisted it. He actually said that. So it's not being twisted. It is what you mean. You say what you mean what you say. And that's what people will think of. The political realignment that's happening is pretty interesting with working class voters. So you're going to see that on Tuesday. Also, I would add this. Joe Manchin is up for re-election in 2024. And I think he will have a very tough race on his hands.
Ooh, that's interesting. What do you think, Harold?
So I like the fact, one of the things that you should like in politics is when a party can have an open feud 2 days before an election. You don't see this on the Republican side. And Jesse and I, we were talking about this off air. I hope that if Republicans take the Senate, I don't hope they take it, but if they do, I hope that their voices in the Republican Party in the Senate who will stand up to Republicans when they think they're either spending too much, going overboard, being excessive. number one. Number two, there's no question we need more domestic energy production in the country, be it coal, be it natural gas, be it any fossil fuel that we're able to produce here when we were the biggest producer for a long period of time. And it started under President Obama. He didn't have the right posture towards it, but it happened under him. Three, not only should we have an all-of-the-above strategy, any Republican, if you win the majority of the House and said, I plead with Republicans, please don't support Putin. The one thing that will drive up energy costs more is if we expand the horizon and strength of an autocrat, and if we expand his ability to produce natural gas and, for that matter, to produce energy products. The single greatest inflationary upward pressure in our economy are gas prices and energy prices. We should produce more here, and we should support Zelensky to defeat Putin, because if he's empowered, if his thing is enriched, it will only make energy more expensive, which makes food more expensive, our clothing more expensive, things to make your suits darker, those great shoes of yours, Greg, darker. The reality is, and your shoes too, Judge, we need to ensure that we produce more here, and we don't empower Putin in the process.
All right, you know what,
Amen.
Greg?
Amen.
With respect to Putin, he shouldn't even be in the picture. We should be energy independent.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that? A Democrat?
Exactly. I blame Harold Ford for everything that's gone wrong in my life. I blame you. What were we talking about? Energy, right? The thing that gets me mad, it wasn't the getting rid of coal plants. It's when he says wind and solar. And you know, okay, if that's how you feel, you first. You are not relying on wind. The White House isn't relying on wind. The White House isn't relying on solar. He's lying. And everybody, I think this is, I don't know how it got started, but we politicized even energy. Whereas you should be able to have this kind of like basically objective view that like, yeah, let's use this stuff. Maybe it's not that great. Let's look at this other stuff. Maybe this stuff's coming along. But in the meantime, let's do this. How did it become left and right? When did this happen? I didn't buy into that. I don't think you bought into it. I don't know where. I guess there has to be, you have to follow the money and find out who makes money by pitting us against each other. When Greta, what's her name? Thunberg says, don't get rid of the nuclear power plants because we need them. That tells you that maybe the stuff's starting to crack. Yeah. I hope it is. But the last thing is, like, you know, when I listen to Biden, he reminds me, I guess, what you call a bingo spinner. You know, you spin it, ball pops out. That's his brain. And then it pops out and he reads what's on the ball. He goes, gonna get rid of coal plants. Then he throws the ball away and then he does it again. He's basically a bingo ball spinner, Dana. And that's no euphemism, you dirty.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.